I know, there are lots and lots of backroom games, but most of them are kinda bad. And I'm not making this video because of the trailers of the Backrooms film. I didn't even know there was one was starting making this game. What I want with this video is to know if a Backrooms horror game with an experimental gameplay would interest you. To be specific, that turns around trying to create the feeling of discovering new liminal spaces, where you come into the game knowing about the basic famous levels, but where you can actually discover yourself new levels, as if you were really a wanderer, to recreate that feeling when you're discovering something you think you shouldn't have. Like when you were a kid just enjoying the game, not trying to checkbox all the objectives to finish it. Based around 90% of the Wikidot lore, and supported by a digicam aesthetic having a style over the photorealistic look, but of course without forgetting about the entities. Not too many and not too few. There must be some kind of stretch without it becoming a screamathon to arrive to something as good looking as what these guys did. But of course, there's always a problem. Oh, wait, no, 3 actually. How can anyone be interested? What makes me, a random guy, trustworthy of making such a game, especially after seeing the thumbnail? And why are you looking at this video instead of a trailer for this game? I think that the third question is the most important one. Would there be anyone interested into playing such a game? I know it seems like it's going to be just a mid-game like most of the other Backrooms one. And it's not like I'm going to blame you. This game can potentially just be mid. So we'll need feedback and playtesting to get better, but we want to focus on having a lot of levels. Of course, you have the main 12 ones, along with the famous ones like the pools and level 94. But we want to add other levels that aren't that famous. What here is the entire plan of the levels we have for the moment. And if you have good eyes, you may see that half of them are blurred. That is because we want to recreate that feeling of discovering new places, wandering around as if you were really in the backrooms, trying to replicate as close as possible what we read in the stories of the Wikidot. Or like when you were a kid and you asked yourself if beyond that barrier over there was something hidden. Or just what old games did in general, creating myths. Of course, I'm not here saying that I'm capable of predicting the future and to know that people are going to create myths around this game. But I mean that it's totally plausible for people to talk about levels that are extremely complicated to reach and maybe becoming myths around the players. I want to recreate that feeling with a quality game. With people talking about this game going, see these first famous levels everybody knew about? They're great. The claustrophobia is intense in the pipes. The wonder if you have thalassophobia after getting out of level 7 is incredible. But what he had reserved behind all of those teasers and videos was so much better. With the help that the fact that backrooms are, for some people, as simulations that can get bugs or generate errors, using procedural generations to create very large spaces can enhance that feeling of weirdness you have from those liminal spaces. Of course, not every time, but it can surely help to create large environments to explore without hopefully getting too boring and having a bit amount of replayability. Plus, in the wiki, most of the levels can't really be mapped out because it's always distorted in some way or another, so it's a win-win. Heading with that high quality entities, not the cartoonish ones you're used to see in some videos to be more appealing to kids, but actual uncanny valley territory things. It's not like there was just nothing there. There are entities without playing a massive role but still pushing the narrative. Like what Kane Pixel did, it must be nuanced, not too much and not too few. There's some kind of life, but the place is so big that it's complicated to find them to not finish with the boring die and retry game, nor to just be the walking simulator like what the Complex or Pause did. Those games are good, but it's not what we're going for as the main game. Afterwards, Schmoop, my friend that is responsible for the gameplay and player feedback, he's going to add options of difficulty. So if you want to go in liminal photography mode, you can, or any other of these games modes that we plan on adding to the game. In case you're wondering, this footage is from that game mode, so it's just a walking simulator version. There's nothing that spawns nor items or entities, just the liminal space hell. Plus, the fact that Terralix, the third dev, is perfectional in the AIs of the entities, so they can work in group or alone, and stalk you, adapt to how you may play, helped by a director that will guide it without giving the exact position, like what Alien Isolation did. All of that supported with the fact that we aren't very good animators, so the basic animation we'll do can more easily feel uncanny. Mixed with the procedural animation over it, we can have a result that can be really uncanny. You know, the thing that seems human but still has something off. But now, let's get to the two other problems that was causing in this game. First, how is it that me and two friends are trustworthy of making such a game? Technically, nothing. We have nothing to show you more than some videos of the environments that I made beforehand to make the game more appealing. Well, there isn't much to say about experience because, as you saw in the thumbnail, we don't have much. We started working on this game 7 months ago after seeing this video. You should check it out. Yeah, it's in French, but if you can understand it, it's really good. At the time, I only knew a very few about the backrooms. I saw 1 or 2 videos about it and barely knew what creepypastas was. I didn't know at all that there was a movie planned or anything like that. The peak of popularity for the subject got down, so why would I want to make a game like that after that? Well, it's simply because I would enjoy the process of creation. I want to see that game exist and share it. But if I focus only that, I'm gonna finish like all the other devs that quit because it was too hard. Plus, I'm so interested in how games work. I've watched many videos, essays about explaining the different psychology behind some great horror games like Alien Isolation, PT, Amnesia the Bunker, or even Routine. Mixed with all of the knowledge that Shmoop and Terralix has, I'm sure we can make something really decent. Terralix has already done stuff when he was younger with AI, and today he still finishes in the tops of competition about artificial intelligence in general, so I'm sure what he does will be very good. I'm inspiring myself from beautiful games to be able to make something as good, making it photorealistic and still stylizing it in a way to make it iconic and intolerable. Exactly what Routine or Marathon did. But even if it doesn't turn to look as good or be so scary, we want to take as much feedback as we can too, making this game as immersive and terrifying as we all saw these places were when we saw these for the first time. So we want to have as much playtesting as possible to keep that balance between how much your brain can create from the unknown while exploring these places and what it would actually see, with points of rest where you can be even more terrified by the anticipation of what will happen. But for example, the level 7 isn't that terrifying, but if we take a lot of feedback of people that have played Tell Us of Her games, we will be able to make something that is truly horrible. But we have a last question. Why is this a video explaining the game and not a trailer? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. First, the other old videos that I made were kinda bad and doesn't make us look like we were knowing what we were doing. Well, it's true for the videos. But I've removed most of the ones that I did find were really not showing any value for the game, if it wasn't degrading our image. So when people don't know about us and want to have more info without joining the Discord, they can watch this instead. Second, I'm not very good at editing. I don't enjoy it that much because of the potato computer I have. There's literally a delay of 2 or 3 seconds between when I click or drag it and when that is actually done. So simplifying it this much takes way less time for me to make a video. You can't imagine how horrible it is for me to create environments in Unreal when the only stuff I see is this. And I have a delay of around 10 seconds between when I update the procedural code and when it actually updates. It's genuinely the things I hate the most. But I only have enough money with the others to buy the Steam page. So upgrading from this computer that was made when I was 9 must wait a bit. I'll show you what I'm able to do with this potato, and then I'll maybe ask for some money to be able to buy one and some plugins that are just musts. For example, the ocean of level 7 is pretty good, but it's not enough. Like all the little particles you get from when you're underwater, the difference of color between when you're near the surface or far below. I can't do that with the free stuff. Well, technically I could, but what do you think I am, a bachelor math teacher? So I really don't have the skill required yet to make a first trailer, just to show the main levels. So I wouldn't be satisfied enough from how it looks for the moment. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's that we've exposed ourselves so much to this that we can't see the line anymore between what is pretty good and what is photorealistic. Even if I still think that this is not enough to be attracting for the other guys. I'm trying to make this as photorealistic as possible, like what Subliminal did or Bodycam, to then break its walls and stylize it like I want to. For what I know is that artists that have really great styles know very well the walls. It's by knowing the walls that you can break them. Well, at least that's from my skills and jewelry taught me. You first learn about the real anatomy, and then you can deform it as real in a harmonic way. Well, thanks for watching. We have a Discord with sneak peeks and more if you're interested. Especially, could you tell me in the comments if this game could actually be interesting? We're maybe going to create some kind of funding system to be able to buy some more plugins, maybe some assets, and especially to have a good computer, because for the moment, we have a delay between the moment I create the environments and when I get to see the result in real time after sending it to Terralix. But we'll wait. The only thing I want from this video is to know if you guys would be excited about this game, or if you're just like, yeah, it seems pretty good, but aren't that excited about it. If that's the case, I think I'm going to have to make this more interesting to look at. I think of using shorts like what Subliminal did to be able to reach to more people like us interested in this game.